What if I told you that pretty much everything we learned in gym class about how to get good at sports was, well, kind of backward? We're not talking about just doing more drills or practicing harder. We're talking about a fundamentally smarter way to learn net games, like badminton or tennis. And it all starts by focusing on one thing first: the decision. I want you to think back to PE class for a second. You remember it, right? Lining up, hitting a shuttlecock or a tennis ball over the net again and again and again. We were all taught to perfect the motion, but it always felt so disconnected from, the actual game.
And that's the real question here. What if the whole point wasn't just about mastering that perfect serve in a vacuum? What if it was about understanding why you need that serve and when to use it to totally outsmart your opponent? That little shift in thinking changes everything, and that's what we're going to unpack.
So to really get this new approach, we first have to take a hard look at why the old way of doing things, just drilling skills, so often misses the mark. You can really break it down into two different philosophies. On one hand, you've got the traditional method. This is what most of us grew up with. Learn the grip, learn the serve, learn the footwork, all separate. You only get to play a real game way later. The tactical method completely flips that on its head. You start playing right away, but you're playing these clever, modified games that are specifically designed to teach you the why behind every single skill. So what's so wrong with the drill-first method? Well, for starters, it can be really boring, and a lot of kids just check out. But it goes deeper. It creates players who have a technically perfect swing, but have no idea when to actually use it. They become inflexible, and maybe the biggest problem of all, it doesn't teach decision-making. I mean, you can hit 1,000 perfect shots in practice, but that skill just doesn't transfer when you're in a real game with real pressure. Okay, so if drills aren't the answer, then what is? Let's dive into this new game plan, one that's all about building tactical awareness right from the start.
This quote really just nails it. The whole point of a game is to outwit the person on the other side of the net. It's like a physical game of chess. So with this approach, you're not just teaching shots, you're teaching strategy from day one. So what exactly is the tactical approach? Well, it's not just a free-for-all. It's actually super structured. Think of the coach as a game designer. They change the rules or the court to blow up one specific tactical problem. By setting up the game this way, they basically force the players to figure out the solution on their own. Now, this all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like on the court? Let's get into some real examples of how these simple, modified games build up some serious skills.
Okay, here we go. Tactical goal number 1, the long game. The whole idea here is to create open space on the court by pushing your opponent all the way to the back. But you can't just yell at a kid, "Hey, hit it deep." You have to design a game that makes them want to do it.
And here's how you do it. You play a pretty normal game, but you make one simple rule change. You get bonus points every single time the shuttle lands in that back zone of your opponent's court. All of a sudden, every player is totally motivated to figure out how to hit the shuttle deep. They're solving the problem because the game is rewarding them for it. And this is where the magic happens. After the players have been trying like crazy to get those bonus points, the teacher steps in and asks a simple guiding question. And because the students just experienced the problem firsthand, they're ready to discover the solution themselves, the overhead clear. They learn the technique because they finally understand its purpose. It's brilliant.
All right, on to the next tactical problem, recovery. This is all about getting back to a central home base after every shot, so you're ready for whatever comes next. Where you stand is absolutely crucial. But again, just telling players to do it, that almost never works.
So you modify the game. You put a hoop or a cone right in the middle of the court. Now players get a bonus point every single time they hit their shot and then touch the hoop. The game itself is teaching the habit. They aren't just mindlessly drilling a movement, they're internalizing a core piece of strategy. So you can start to see how these simple rule changes are like building blocks, right? They lay a foundation, but the tactical approach can get even more sophisticated.
It's not just about changing the rules. You can change the playing space itself. Check this out. You can modify the court, say by making it really long and skinny. This creates a totally new problem for the players to solve. How do you attack and defend this narrow channel? It makes them think about angles and placement in a whole new way.
And once again, here comes the coach, guiding that discovery. After the players have experienced what it's like to be close to the net in a game, a question like this connects the dots. They realize, from their own experience, that being up close is the absolute perfect time to use a powerful smash. So, instead of just memorizing a list of shots, players learn a series of if-then scenarios. It's like, if your opponent is at the net,
then the solution is to hit the shuttle deep over their head with a clear. If they're way at the back, then the solution is a soft drop shot over the net. The game becomes this constant, fast-paced conversation of problems and solutions. So, when you put this all together, what's the real payoff? Why is this game-based, tactical approach so much more powerful in the long run?
This, right here, is the ultimate difference. A traditionally trained player knows how to perform a skill. They have the mechanics down. But a tactical player, they know how, when, and why to use that skill. One is like a robot executing a program. The other is a thinking, adapting player who truly understands the game.
The payoff here is just huge. This whole approach develops critical thinking and keeps players completely engaged, because practice isn't a chore anymore. It's a puzzle to be solved. It builds this really deep understanding of strategy, and honestly, it just makes learning sports way more fun and a lot less frustrating. And that might be the biggest win of all.
Now, this framework was designed for net games like badminton, but it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Where else in sports, or heck, even in other parts of life, could we learn way faster and way smarter by playing the game instead of just running the drills?